part, there's two different methods. And then there's also the application process. So if they're directly certified through SNAP, yes, it's electronic, but then there's also the letters portion.
Right, because not every parent who's receiving SNAP also gets free and reduced lunch, even though they do qualify for it.
Well, if they get SNAP, if they get any sort of food stamps or anything, yes, they are they would be directly certified. They're just, some people have to submit that letter that says you must submit this to the school.
Right.
And is RIDE working to correct that so that
So
we just get the information and they're automatically entered?
It's
or?
getting better, I think this year because of that, whatever, it's-
Yeah.
that system had an issue this year. So I think this year was a hiccup, but I think that since I've been doing the K through 12, it's almost 10 years now, it has gotten better.
But I get it, how some parents may be receiving SNAP, but may not want their schools to know that, so they may not send that letter back.
Well, yes,
Right.
if they're directly certified, then we automatically know. But there are parents that, I've had parents of, you know, I don't wanna say broken homes, but the father will call and say, well, why is my daughter receiving free and reduced
Because mom
application?
qualifies,
Yes.
and, yep.
And they'll be like, well, I don't want them to. Well, the application was filled out, I have to, and that's the parent
Right.
that's on there as the guardian.
I get that, I get it.
Unfortunately, that's how it is.
So then I'm sorry, so then my other point is, while I appreciate the idea of setting up social workers to do that, again, I go back to East. Cranston East has 2 social workers for 1,700 students. There's absolutely no way they wouldn't even take a stipend. I can almost guarantee you, it wouldn't even be worth it to them. So I like the idea of like maybe joining with CCAP, or even, what about with COSI? You know, they don't, I wonder if maybe at open houses, because we could do an even, but maybe we could do an even bigger presentation about it. Maybe we make that a bigger part of open house. Maybe we're not.
We do open house. It depends on the school. Some schools will announce that we're at their open house.
I know.
Some schools, they just see the table. There's other schools that we go to the open house as well as the before school. There's sometimes schools do like a pre-orientation. So we'll go to that. So we'll do whatever the, some principals, I think this year we went to, 20 open houses. Some schools, they have so much going on that they really just don't want us there, which is fine, but we try to get to as many as we possibly can. There was a mix-up with 2 of the open houses this year that got canceled, and we didn't know, and we didn't go to those 2, but for the most part, we are at most of them.
But I wonder if maybe trying to join with CCAP or COSI to do some of this outreach that you suggest might be a better option and lessen the burden on our staff.
COSI is really good. We do, it depends on the school. A lot of the schools, the ones that are higher free and reduced, those ones tend to reach out more. In September, we send the information to the principal saying this student was free last year, they still haven't filled an application. A lot of those students, a lot of those schools that are free or reduced, they do reach out because they understand they're.
But I'm saying to reach out to make the phone calls to people that have balances, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Can you just do me a favor and just explain to everyone why the universal free lunch does not work for this district currently?
Well, universal free lunch doesn't work because you have to have so much, you have to have so much of the entire district to be free.
Right.
Universal free lunch still means that you're only getting the paid reimbursement for a paid student. So, in other words, the paid reimbursement is only 31 cents for a paid student. Now, if we're looking at Hope Highlands, the majority of those students, quite frankly, probably only 6%, I think off the top of my head, I may be a little bit off, but only 6% of those students are free or reduced. So if you're looking at that school, you will lose your shirt on how much you would have to pay into the program, so to speak. So in other words,
it
that
does not
school,
balance out
yeah.
the 3 schools that actually would work for that.
Yeah.
It does not balance out the schools that don't.
So Gladstone would
Okay.
end up
You've actually looked at the numbers.
universal free would
Okay.
not work.
Okay.
You can do the CEP program for certain schools, which is community eligibility provision, which you get. I've actually started to do the calculation. I called RIDE, and the calculator is not updated, so I have to find a way to calculate the method myself,
Right,
is basically what they told me when I spoke to them.
good luck, or just make it up then, just make a number, yeah.
Well, they said, and then they said, oh, it'll come out in April. I said, well, this one looks like it's about 2 or 3 years old, looking at the reimbursement rates. And they basically said, well, do the calculation yourself.
So just to kind of clarify, the CEP
Mhm.
is, it's an additional way, but that for kids to get the free lunches, but has to be, it's per school.
Yeah.
So the school has to qualify, but the flip side to that is then the administrative paperwork behind getting all of that done falls to the district. So it's no longer in
And,
Yeah,
Aramark's hands to do.
I cannot do that
So
paperwork.
that's the flip side to that, and that, again, is 3 schools, because, you know, we've been talking about this for a couple of years, so.
Right, yeah.
So it's 3 schools that would actually qualify for that, but then it's 3 schools that now the paperwork has to fall into someone in administration, again,
Get a social
it's,
worker.
and it's a
It's
lot,
One of the largest middle schools is
right, the
the
largest elementary
elementary
school.
Yeah,
school, and then a smaller elementary
Right.
school.
Right.
So it would be, I don't wanna say difficult, but it would be a lot of work for
Mr. Walker, can I stand up?
And I don't know if I'm gonna take a turn to a tangent that's somewhat connected, but when we did speak at the, about this at the wellness meeting, one of the topics that came up was the sun butter sandwich. And at that time, I asked questions about the sun butter and the cost of the meal for those people who didn't pay their bill.
Mhm.
And the woman was very eloquent, she came in, you may have read it and around the future, and she, you know, she's talking of a very sad situation. The child got the sun butter sandwich, whether they liked it or not, whether it's wonderful, but attached to the sun butter sandwich is this stigma, that you didn't pay your bill.
Mhm.
It wasn't the child who didn't pay the bill, it was the family, you know, the parent.
Mhm.
So we were penalizing the child by giving them this stigma meal, which may be wonderful and very nutritional. And I just didn't think it was right, and I know some districts, and we're charged the same amount, right? Am I right on this one? Because that's what you told me at the time.
Yes,
For
it
the
is,
sun butter sandwich, as we are for the standard hot meal that we give to people who pay.
Well,
My
that's
question-
just that's, the meal is, no matter what a kid chooses, that's what the meal costs.
Therein lies my
Mhm.
question.
Right.
I don't like the idea of giving them this sun butter sandwich if we get charged the same amount. The only people we are penalizing, please let me finish.
Yeah.
The only people we're penalizing, the child who stands there and gets something else. And everybody at the table knows why he got it, or she got it, no pronouns. So,
The student.
the student, very good. So I would be, and I think we need to look at this, because if we're going in a direction, and I think we're gonna go in the right direction, having an agency that goes after those who did not pay, and looking for ways for people who can afford to pay. To put it bluntly, without being believer to the point, I think we give the kid the normal meal, and do away with the sun butter sandwich.
we will do anything that you ask us to do.
I think as a school committee, we would put that first, and then
Yeah,
and that's probably a topic for another day, but that's something. And I saw the unpaid meal, so I took this tangent.
I was gonna talk about.
I saw the unpaid meals.
I'm sorry.
That's what. So, 2 questions, on the universal lunch, how much of a difference was there, how much money would we lose?
it's off the top of my head, I don't know,
Okay.
but,
Because-
if you're looking at Hope Highlands, they do about 80 meals per day.
Well,
$2 and change a day minus 31
what I'm wondering,
cents.
what I'm wondering is overall, because all I really care about is the big number, and we are headed towards losing $60,000 this year.
You would lose
And,
more than
and,
that.
and, and it has been going up though, but every year.
Mhm.
So, but how much of a
I
dip,
would
are
say
we
it
talking
would be in-
150,000?
No, I would say it would be in the hundreds of thousands of
Hundreds?
dollars.
Okay,
Because when you're looking at a district overall, it was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we would lose, because you're looking at certain schools that,
okay. Right, yeah,
would
yeah, I
cover,
understand that,
but
right,
then
yeah.
the other school, in those
Right.
certain schools, like
Right.
Gladstone, for instance, yes, they're 80% free or reduced,
Right.
give or take, but then that other 20%, you're still only getting that 31 cents for those paid students. So in your lunches, participation will end up increasing, because obviously if nobody's paying,
Right, right.
they're
yeah,
gonna say,
yeah,
well,
right.
send your kid to school without having to get lunch now, you'll end up increasing your amount of participation,
Right.
which will then
Right,
increase
it's
your
usually the
debt.
cost, right.
So
right,
it's
right.
it's